Anyways, good luck, have fun with this. Mini versus fucking Barracks. Mini is supposed to win this, but who knows? Barracks is playing really well, so
The round of 8, and it'll be only PVZ from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, my heart is with Barracks. I actually am kind of rooting for him today as the underdog. But I mean, the reality is saying Mini is favorited to win this. I would say that this is probably one of the best opponents he could have had in the round of 8. I think someone like Snow would have wiped the floor with him a little bit here. So it's kind of good that he's got Mini. But yeah, it's really going to put the whole Terran race up against the wall now. I think that there needs to be some kind of miracle here from Barracks to overcome the odds and maybe find some way of doing some emotional damage to Mini to tilt him sometime during this series to give him a strong chance at winning.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm also cheering for Barracks here. I want to see a more even race distribution as we get deeper in, as we get to that round of 4. It'd be awesome to see Barracks advance. And it'd be more interesting for the scene as a whole if he does get through. I'm also I also wouldn't be opposed to kind of witnessing the epic levels of salt that would come from Terran getting kicked out already. I could just imagine already. I might actually have to watch and rewatch the ASL through the Artosis and Tasteless cast just to see how infuriated Artosis is going to be if Barracks gets knocked out tonight.
Nah,
it's going to be so
just a botana, man. It's neck.
Either Mini is going to be throwing his head around, cursing to himself, wondering what happened, or you're going to get epic levels of Terran soul, as not a single Terran will be making it through to the semi-finals. If that comes to pass, we're getting a little bit look at the brackets now. Today we've got that Barracks versus Mini. Tomorrow, Snow versus Effort, which I'm really looking forward to.
I think Snow versus Effort is going to be insane.
And last but not least, Bisu versus Lava.
Best in Summit as well. All of these matches, but yeah, I'm really looking forward for Effort versus
so hard to make a prediction video, Sean. I put it up on my YouTube channel yesterday. It was super, super tough, and I had so many comments from all of you guys out there with your hot takes and interesting opinions. A lot of people called me crazy for thinking that Barracks might go through here, but we'll have to see, man. It really comes down to the day here for Mini.
Yeah, I think statistically speaking, you're easy to root for Barracks. Historically, has won out against him, and there was this ASL's season 17 revenge match that they had where Mini was pretty dominant in that. So it is hard to see a Barracks victory here. They have a little bit of a storied past where Barracks has taken a few games off him in these smaller series where it's just like best of 1 or best of 3. But when it comes to anything of substance like these best of 7s, seems like Barracks not able to win out against the likes of Mini, and might be seeing a bit of a repeat here today.
So we were really happy when we saw that there was going to be no mirror matchups going into the round of 8, but we could end up with a really awkward situation with something like 4 Protoss players in the semifinals, or 3 Zergs and a Protoss or something like that. Could be really awkward. So we might have actually got what we wanted a little bit too much. Oh man, we're just watching on screen here that Overlord flying into the cannon against Mini. That was such a wacky moment. I was so excited for Jaedong to get into this round of 8, and that was a tragic, unfortunate circumstance.
It's one of the rare instances where I would have done better than Jaedong in not losing the Overlord, because I always put my Overlords on patrol rather than move when I'm going deep into a base like that. So if it does get shot by something like a cannon or a Dragoon, it'll immediately turn around for you and kind of try and start going into the path of safety.
I didn't know this. When I heard he said this, because I already watched this intro, but I didn't watch any further. I didn't know. Now I know. If you put your shed to go here, but instead of move command, patrol, if it gets attacked in automatic, you don't have to do it. It will turn around and go back. Which is why he said, I'm surprised Jaedong didn't do this. And I'm like, well, I didn't know. Maybe even Jadon doesn't know. I don't know. Maybe for some people that's basic. It makes sense. But I didn't know, man. So that's very cool because it gives you one less task to, take care of. And the only reason Jadon didn't fucking react and move his Overlord back and it got sniped by the fucking photon cannon and he got supply blocked in that game in that particular moment. Therefore, the outcome of the game will probably be completely different if he wasn't fucking supply blocked because he was microing his fucking Zerlings, man. But when he said that, I was like, wow, man, I've been playing this game for so long and I didn't know that. No?
At least giving
that's good to know.
Time to avoid dying to a Dragoon or a Marine, or especially stopping a cannon from killing it. Really big oversight there from the Tyrant Zerg, and unfortunately that means he's now out of the tournament.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really, really sad. I thought he was going super deep this season.
Beautiful, baby.
Had placed a lot of my bets on him. Well, not literal bets, but of course in my videos and saying how he was going to be going deep. He looked so fantastic in the KCM. Really sad not to have him.
You got a favorite player for this set?
Zerg players right now.
Or in general?
It would be
of the last 8?
Pretty crazy.
There's many good
we had
ones, man,
another Zerg here rather than the Protoss.
Kinda
I mean,
rooting
having
for
Protoss,
Snow.
I'm actually kind of happy about it. I think that
if anyone deserves
even
to finally
if we
win
got a
an
4
ASL,
Protoss lineup in the
it's fucking
semifinals,
Snow, man.
at least that would guarantee a Protoss champion for the first time in 8 seasons. 8 seasons.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Since
any one
there
of
hasn't
these
been a Protoss champion.
8 guys deserve it. They have been playing awesome.
PvPs to get there as well. I feel like it's overdue that we have.
I think if Soma wins, that will be insane because he just came back from military service and he's already in fucking top 8, which is insane.
Race like you're talking about, and this is the time to do it. And what's so strange is all
Snow
of the
is
Zergs that are here in the round of 8 are all of these guys coming back into the scene. You've got Effort, Soma, and Lava, who have all been kind of either busy in their military service or recovering from wrist injuries or whatever else. And I think that.
But who knows? All of them are so freaking good,
the
man.
Newcomers back into the scene are the ones that are dominating right now. And maybe that's something to do with
whoever wins,
sort of
respect. But yeah, I guess I'm rooting for
Snow.
the
game. Sometimes
if I
taking
have
a
to
break,
pick
we
one
said
of
it
these
before,
8,
can be really beneficial where you kind of have fresh.
Yeah, Snow is their Tosis
You're not
buddy.
tunnel visioning on the meta and how you should be playing, and that opens you up to kind of re-innovating the meta yourself a little bit and carrying the torch forward to keep that meta ever shifting.
I think that effort will pretty much always be a huge factor if he's actually playing. He's just such a strong player. It doesn't really matter which era you're talking about. Guy who is able to get a winning record versus Flash will always be relevant.
I mean, he changed how Flash was playing. This was during an era where Flash was...
If you didn't know, now you know who the fuck is Effort, man. He's been around, and during his prime, he had a winning record against Flash. Like, who the fuck can say that in Broad War? No one.
Playing 1-1-1 builds all the time, and Effort just stomped him, playing Zergling pressure with Burrow into Mulus play, and just pulling him apart, showing how flimsy the 1-1-1 build is when you go that hyper-aggressive in the early to mid-game transition. And yeah, made Flash look a little bit silly back there, and not many players can also boast of 60+% win rate across the board. You gotta have eyes on that guy, no matter what's happening. But let's get back here to these two individuals on the stage right now. I always love how animated.
Yeah, I guess only
his facial expression, especially when he's gaming. It looks like he's a deer in headlights with his eyes bulging out of his head.
Yeah, he is quite an expressive guy, quite a character. We've got a lot of great characters here in the ASL this season. Minnie also an interesting character, kind of an otaku, not a very social character. In a game that is very, very social, right? You kind of need practice partners. You have to be swapping strategies, and the more great practice partners you have, the better chance you are at
stream snipe, or map hacked
in the ASL. That's why it's so difficult
will be in the top.
for foreign players to ever go deep in the ASL or even get into the ASL. It's such a hard thing to do because they don't generally speak Korean, and it's very hard for them to get solid practice with the top level players.
I think he's rectified that since the last ASL season. I think there was an interview with him where he basically said that he didn't have a lot of these pro gamers' phone numbers to hand, and I think he started to change that. I think he now has a couple of more contacts within the scene.
I'm the same, dude. I don't think I'm too fucking social.
He's going to need to go deep in this tournament this time around.
Unless I'm in a very good mood.
To have the guys to help figure out your benchmarks for your builds and run things by you and make sure that everything that you're thinking about is airtight. Because if you are like having a bit of an oversight and not really identifying a bit of a hole in your build order or your preparation, you'll come to face the music on the day and can get into a bit of an emotional disaster as a result, especially with the likes of Mini.
Yeah, Mini. He's such a wild card, man. It's so hard to pin this guy down and figure out how to play against him. Barracks has a very solid style. He's a mentee of Light, who is just a pillar in the Terran community. Didn't make it through in this season, but is generally considered one of the best Terran players in the world, if not the best, in the absence of Flash. And I mean, he's going to be playing more of an orthodox style. We did see some change-ups in his game when he went up against Sulky. He had a very unique build, a very strong build to just get in there and take out Sulky early, and it worked amazingly well. But I'm expecting just very solid macro play and a more reactive style from Barracks in this series.
So Barracks is a very capable, mechanics-orientated Terran, one of the best in the business when it comes to just having really solid mechanics. But this is only his second time, I think, in the round of 8. I know he's gotten into the round of 16 plenty of times, but I believe he's only ever gotten into the round of 8 once, which was ASL Season 18, if I'm not mistaken, the SSL one. But yeah, this would be great if he can finally break deeper into the tournament, get himself a semi-final spot and a seed, more importantly, for the next season of ASL. That would be huge for him.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's expecting Barracks to win the entire tournament here. There's just so many strong players. But getting into next season and continuing to develop himself, it'll help him in the next season to get a better group and a better matchup, and
I think
just continue to improve his game and also give him more opportunities to study with the best players in the world, more time to play in a pro league and that sort of thing. More experience overall in the scene is what it takes to win an ASL title. There's just so many insanely strong players.
That's a Dark Souls post or something.
He may end up going up against Snow, by the way, in the round of 4, which would be, I think, a bloodbath because Snow is just way too good in PvT.
Yeah, I don't think he's beating Snow, but I think he could still potentially beat Mini and get that important seed. Though Mini, speaking of experience, saying definitely a more accomplished player. He's got quite a few ASL silver medals. I think he's got 3 ASL silver medals, as well as that star on his chest from ASL Season 12.
Oh, wow, I didn't know this guy had one way ASL
very
and
potent
3
player
second
and more than
places.
capable in this Protoss versus Terran matchup.
Yeah, he's incredibly good, incredibly solid Protoss player. He has a very unique style of play, extremely scrappy, and has a unique take on all of these different matchups, especially PvZ. His Dark Templar attacks are just, they're so him. Like, nobody else quite plays like he does. And we're going to see that come into play here in this match against Barracks. What kind of unique strategies is he going to pull out, and can Barracks react?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the statistics on Mini's Liquipedia page, doesn't actually reflect his ability. That's the case of a lot of these guys. You can't just go based on raw statistics, especially from a long time ago.
Jay don't fault to this guy, man.
Stylistic Protoss versus Zergs in the business, and that's
Mini
not an easy
catch
thing to
him by
accomplish.
surprise 2 times.
Struggling against that Zerg race. So when you can kind of hold your own in that dodgy matchup and also perform
this guy can be a killer
in the versus Terran and Protoss like you should
kind of fortunate for the Dawn,
that makes you a very strong contender to go deep in tournaments like this, and he certainly has been able to accomplish that coming
He
second
lost
in
3
ASL,
games
season 7,
versus me last
11,
round.
and
He didn't
16,
win a
and getting
single
that gold star from ASL season 12. So yeah, I think Mini definitely the favorite here.
Well, if Mini starts to get some early wins, I could definitely see him snowballing this series. But if Barracks starts to throw a wrench into his game plan and messes him up a little bit, puts him on tilt, there's for sure a way that he can get through into that semifinal. Here he is on screen now, getting all set up. Headphones on. He's locked in and ready for this best of 7 series.
Yeah, the statistics you're seeing on the screen, not necessarily reflective of their ability. It's very hard to get a 50% win rate in the ASL, so anything close to that or beyond is seriously impressive. You can see Barracks just barely holding his own in those statistics to be here today. It's the second time, I think, of him being in this round of 8. It'd be really great for him if he can somehow secure that seed. He does look pretty calm. Like, I don't see very many jitters from him. I saw almost no shakiness in his hand as he's drinking. So, I mean, that's a really good sign that he's feeling a lot more comfortable in this stage. One thing we see a lot with these gamers is they're very potent when it comes like the round of 24.
I'm not sure I watched that game
deep into the tournament. They kind of fall apart mentally.
Do you know who he played against?
Barracks seems calm.
Looking at you, Speed. Always falling apart in some of these deeper runs. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's really hard to maintain that composure, but Barracks seems to be doing a good job of it. He's hanging in there. He's ready. He's here to play, and he's got a really long series to prove himself. It's not like a best of 1. He's got a whole 4 games to get a win here.
From round of 8
Mini,
is best of
and
7,
it could go all the way
like,
to
no more
the 7th
best of 1
game here.
surprises,
Oh, man,
or even best of 3. Like
getting Screaming C second.
best of 5, 7 is no
it.
joke now.
I was actually going to point out that we're getting all of the new maps guaranteed because they're in the first 4. Knockout, then Screaming Sea, Metropolis, and then Litmus as the 4th. So I think we're ready though, guys. It's the ASL Season 20 Round of 8 Barracks versus Mini. This is going to be insane. Let's get it on.
I love that tradition.
The final Terran player,
The little-
Barracks, spawning in top left.
Hype they bring to
Mini
each player before the game starts.
here in bottom left, ready to wipe
Crowd
out
and fans.
the Terran race in this tournament. Feeling that final blow. It may be his honor here tonight. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. This first game.
Go Barracks,
Could
last Terran
spell-
hope. Indeed.
Or it could actually set the pace here for the series as a whole.
We got a cheer. Did you see the Saint John cheer? There was a guy from France, I believe. He was cheering for us. Woo! Go, French guy.
Let's go. We actually got a message on the Patreon showing a guy named Emmanuel, I believe his name is. Really wanted to go
All of my
and
baby
watch
girls.
live at the ASL, but he wasn't able to get tickets.
In that photo,
And
Mini
he said that
looked
he
like
was a little
fucking
bit
Mario,
late on
man.
buying those tickets.
From that
so,
angle.
I hope he managed to get in. Shout out to him, whether you made it in or not. We appreciate your support, and we really hope that you got those tickets and managed to get in. At least a standing seat would be very nice.
But it's really like crazy that I've been a part of the StarCraft scene since I was in single digits playing the original campaign before I even knew that Battle.net existed. I remember my first time on Battle.net way back in the day, so many decades ago. All I could see in the Great British Channel was just some guy spamming Pizza Boy is gay. And now we're here casting the ASL with a guy giving a sign saying about us casting. So, I mean, what a time to be alive. This is great.
This is fantastic. Yeah, Emmanuel is his name. Hope he manages to get a ticket, because flying all the way to Korea to watch ASL and not getting a ticket, that is rough. It's an amazing event. So much fun to be there live. Oh my goodness, Mini just barely missing this SCV. Oh
No way,
my
no way, no
God. Okay,
way.
he turns around. All right, he is going to see this in the top left. He opened Nexus first, by the way, and Barracks is going to get a first scout. Let's see how he reacts when he sees the grade here from Mini.
Oh,
I mean, he's doing the safe variant of the 12 Nexus with this double gateway play. You do cut probes usually to do this though, so you don't have to pull the boys in attack as a Terror. You can just, do your build order normally, and because they're playing super safe with cutting probes and making 2 Zealots with these early gateways to make sure they don't take any damage early on, kind of put you in an okay spot as Terran. But I mean, the reality is Barracks is not necessarily me. He might be feeling like, hang on a minute, I could pull the boys on this. This is a close spawn on knockout here. Definitely could do some damage to this potentially. So let's see what Barracks wants to do. He's applying pressure with a couple of Marines and an SUV initially just to force a little bit of lost mining time. Will be a few more seconds until the Zealots start to come out.
Hasn't started a bunker here just yet. Pulling away with that injured Marine, the probe there. Almost missing the scouting SUV at the beginning, just by a razor-thin margin. Did manage to scout. Oh!
Double factory,
Second
bro.
factory starts. He's definitely
Barracks is like,
for
fuck this.
Nexus break, but is this the right call here, game number 1, to go this hard against the Nexus first?
I personally don't think so. I'm more of the theory that if he's going to go 2-gate and cut probes, I just want to play normally and ride that curve and know that I'm not that far behind because of the cutting of the probes and the safety second gateway from Mini. That would be what I would do. But I mean, who knows? This is the way that you get under Mini's skin. If you somehow out micro Mini and get an early win in this series, that's what you need to do to clinch out the entire thing. It's not about winning individual games anymore when it's between these 2 guys in particular. You have to get inside Mini's head and under his skin.
The 3 pylon wall.
Well, he's managed to hide the 2 facts so far, but 2 Zealots and a Dragoon are coming. He's not going to be able to stop this from getting close enough to see no CC. So the moment that Mini sees that, no CC here, I mean, alarm bells are ringing. He's going to try to come up this ramp, perhaps? No, I mean, just seeing that enough. It is enough here. He should be throwing down a 3rd gateway and getting a robo as well so that he can start to make observers. 3-gate robo is the counter to this.
It's the safest way of playing Protoss in general, saying
so
it pretty
both
much
speed
is
and mines.
able to back down anything the Terran sends your way. You can see the,
like
wall
what else?
fully made now. He could cancel that pylon and replug it with a Dragoon soon. Barracks probably wanting that pylon to finish up to make it so we can't get any more Dragoons out on the map. So he's pressuring the wall there a little bit with the Vulture. Has got some mines now being laid on that bridge as well to boot. He's got the 3 tanks. This is the timing for this build, especially with the second machine shop. He wants to just pull the trigger and go all the way now. Every time that he's delayed is costly, so needs to just ram it down. But Mini staying off to the flank a little bit, wants to come in from an angle, force a turnaround from Barracks and slow this down as much as possible.
Yeah, he's going to get in the path of supply.
And where are your dipots? Your supply blocked.
Stop him from getting any more units. Oh, no. He takes a mine connection.
From a mine.
That could actually be massive. 1 mine connection can be the difference maker here.
Oh, he's got
It's already done, and he's going to be pushing very slowly up towards his natural shield battery is ready as well. Not able to stop the rallies from coming forward. Barracks going to get these vultures across the map, but I doubt he'll get anything more until he can rally together a big chunk, maybe 4, maybe 6 units to push through that army there at his natural.
So we left the
However,
2 Dragoons and
he's
2
already
Zealots
dealing a lot of
to
damage.
cut reinforcement. Oh, here we go.
Really going to go for this, diving on the first tank. 1 goes down, not able to get 4 Dragoons targeting 1 tank, but he will get a 2nd tank. He finishes it off, but just barely. Huge connection on that mine as well to finish off one of the last Dragoons here. And none of this stuff is heading back home, but the tanks are dead. He's actually going to hold this, although he loses a lot of probes.
It's a mistake from Barracks. He should have been repairing those tanks with those 2 SCVs, and he just wasn't. He potentially is still able to break through, though. I don't know, this is absolutely crazy. I think Mini does hold. It's such a shame if Barracks was only repairing with those 2 SCVs on at least one of those tanks. This might be looking a little bit different.
Fucking phone call. Hold on.
right now. Having to fight from the trench wasn't helping at all with that mischance. Despite getting the guaranteed splash damage, not ideal for Barracks. And now Mini might be able to do well in this game. Can Barracks somehow turn this into a transition? Or is he just going to double down and try and go all the way here? He's got an SCV waiting to throw down at command center. Mini still with a few contingency of infantry, intercepting any possible reinforcements as well. Looks like Mini, for the time being, though, is going to hold, and this is going to be a tough game for Barracks to win now.
Hard to tell the full-on probe count, but I think it's quite low. Maybe he did enough damage to the probe line to possibly transition. It's hard to say, though. Zealots are going to come forward here, try to help deny this Nexus or the CC going up. Mines here right at the front, but a Observer is finally out, and there's the 3-gate goon with Observer.
I think Barracks loses this game, man.
Defending
it's a solid attempt, but not enough.
But I mean, let's just see if he manages to somehow turn this into a real game, because this is a very tough position for Barracks to be in now.
One base
he's not even started the command center, but he's already mining from his natural and has thwarted the attack and killed 3 tanks. So yeah, not a good spot for a Terran to fight back from, no matter what, no matter which way you slice it, saying. But I mean, who knows? Stranger comebacks have happened in the history of StarCraft. Could happen again today.
Vulture run by,
no, there's the fighting tanks. There's 2 on the high ground, 1 on the low ground. The low ground probably destined to die, however. But Mini would like to put a cancel on that CC, ideally. Not able to do so. Just clears out a tank and retreats. Definitely a big pickup from him, though, limiting the amount of tanks the Terran has at this stage in the game, when they've already committed so much to that early assault, as well as having such a delayed expansion. There's not going to be many tools in the arsenal of Barracks to deal with the harassment and follow-up phases of the game from Mini.
Yeah, Mini is in the driver's seat now, and he's going to get a Reaver out here soon, no doubt. Ooh, Stargate. So
yeah.
I think we're going to see carrier, really.
Yeah. Probably 2 base carrier into 3rd base.
Just straight up 2 base carriers, pretty wild. Do you think he's throwing away a bit of a kind of a free win here if he messes this up?
Yes and no. Like, on this vertical axis, carriers are super strong, so I think this is an okay play from Mini, and I don't think Barracks will expect it, so he'll have predominantly just pure tank vulture and rely on a few zone-controlling turrets to do all the heavy lifting. I doubt he's going to make many factories, and I doubt he's going to make that many Goliaths anytime soon. I think this is still a pretty sound play from Mini, despite having the potential to throw.
A lot of Terran players, when their back is against the wall like this, will just go for, a 5-factory all-in attack and just try to end the game. And that can be really powerful against something like a carrier transition. But we'll see. We'll withhold judgment here for the moment. Mini just beginning this transition now. Is Barracks going to start throwing down factories like crazy and go for an attack? Or is he going to be a little bit more cautious and potentially get completely blindsided by this play from Mini?
Yeah, I mean, he's losing some units already to this Reaver. Mini doing a good job of cycling the Scarabs to... Oh, he's taking a hit on the tank. Needs to be careful. The Reaver, just 1 hit from going down. The problem is there's not much factory production or units from Barracks. We can't really counter-punch once that Reaver does fall. There's just barely enough threshold of Dragoons to...
he's gonna get smashed, bro.
In his tracks.
Whenever he decides to do something,
to find that kind of timing
where he's gonna be like, hello, with carriers.
Tanks, and just pushes. If he can do that, then there might not be enough defenses to buy time for the carriers to come out. It would be a long time come. Is he doing a... Wait, did he lose the Barracks, or is he going for Biomech?
Yeah, this is really bad. He lost the Barracks in the front, and I mean, now he can't even throw down the buildings. He managed to throw down 2 factories right before the Barracks died. So if you queue up a building before the Barracks dies, if you queue up a factory before the Barracks dies, then the factory can still start, but you can't queue up any more once the Barracks is dead. So he managed to queue 2, so he's only gonna have 4 factory. So it's going to be really hard to attack right now.
He doesn't even know about the carriers.
Look at this. He's building that Barracks. By the time that's done, and he starts another factory, and then that factory finishes, carriers will already be out. So it's going to be so hard to make a push happen. That 5 factory timing that I was talking about, it seems like, oh wow, he's actually going to throw down 2 more. So he is going to still go for it, but things are just slowed down so much. 6 factory timing it will be.
Yeah, he's trying to compensate by making a couple of factories rather than just the additional for a total of 5. I understand the thought process here, but you're right, it's probably going to be too slow to stop this carrier timing. 2 have just popped out. He wants to wait for the critical timing of having 4 carriers before revealing those at least. He will obviously bring them to bear if there was some kind of crazy attack timing from Barracks and he needed to put that halt to that in his tracks, but I don't think he will need to do that. He'll probably won't even be revealing these carriers until there's a total count of 4, and that's a nightmare situation for the Terran if you don't even know about it. But by that time, he's not going to have the prerequisite amount of Goliaths. He's going to have like 4 Goliaths to snipe shuttles and probes, and not going to have enough to protect his tanks from those interceptors once they finally get revealed.
Well, I think he's making it look like he's going to be taking a 3rd base here, but then he's just going to unsiege and go. Especially if he manages to take out this shuttle. He saw that there was no 3rd base, by the way. So seeing that there's no 3rd base at this time, you know that something wacky is happening. And he might be suspecting that carriers are on the way. He's got 4 Goliaths here, like you said before. Will he be adding more? There's a few more coming in. I think that Barracks might have made this build. He might be understanding what's happening here. And he's pushing out very carefully, but he's moving quickly towards that natural of the Protoss player. The counterattack may be coming through for Mini to try and delay this. Let's see if it's enough. There's only 3 interceptors in these carriers so far.
Yeah. He's definitely figured out the build of how many Goliaths he's made, and looks like he has got enough defenders back at home to weather the storm against these Dragoons picking apart the natural expansion. With the Reaver support, though, he could definitely break through this. 2 Reavers are going to easily shell through that army. Barracks are but he does wipe out a lot of the standing army at the rally point of Mini, so there's not that much Dragoons to buffer for those carriers anymore. Can Barracks do this? There's a small chance that he can actually make this work. The first 2 carriers have to come out and fight prematurely now. This is exactly what we were talking about. If he can somehow put a lot of pressure onto Mini, the carriers get revealed early and don't have that potency of reaching a count of 4 or have a very high count of interceptors. This could be the way that Barracks wins this game. He managed to leapfrog his siege mode so quickly across the map, and the counterattack from Mini was strong, but not necessarily strong enough. He has got a few small carriers of Goliaths here to try and defang the carriers and kill a few of those interceptors off. But he needs to get more Goliaths to bear right now. All these tanks are going to die.
Yeah, he's kind of stuck in his natural at the moment. The Reavers are still alive. 2 more Goliaths go down. He was actually targeting Goliaths during that fight with the Dragoons. Like, tanks were killing all of the Dragoons, and he was targeting Goliaths. He knows exactly what he needs to do to stop this attack, but he's going to lose the natural. He
can get the Nexus and go home, no?
Barracks, I mean, this is not a great spot, but he can run away with these tanks, wait for another couple rounds of Goliaths, and maybe still take this game.
It's going to be tough, though, because he hasn't got that many
Mini's in one base, bro.
Tanks, Mini in hot pursuit.
Oh my god, carries are fast, man.
Bro. He's going to be decimating the majority of that Terra metal. He's going to send them all to the east of the map to pull the carriers away from far away from his base as possible, to buy a few precious macro cycle rounds. Has got 6 factories worth of production, doing 6 Goliaths at a time. Always catching one of the Goliaths, doing a little bit of damage to it, taking down to 160 HP. That's not too bad at all.
He left on 9.
Stabilize this position.
He's gonna build the Nexus.
Just has to weather the pressure of these carriers showing up to his natural.
Oh my god.
4 carriers is where things start to get very scary, Shun, and he does not have +2. Only +1 here means that the interceptors will not be going down quickly. He dives on top of a carrier, does a lot of damage there. He's going to be microing for his life right now, trying to keep these Goliaths alive and kill as many interceptors as possible. Very hard task. They'll hold right now. There's even a Reaver here still. Oh my god, this Reaver on the high ground. That thing has killed so many Goliaths, and it's still standing here, just holding that position. 7-kill Reaver is going to still be a thorn in the side for Barracks, and he could actually run to that Reaver to use it as point defense against these Goliaths as well.
No, absolutely saying that's definitely what he'll be able to do. At the moment, he's just actually shoved the Reaver forward, slugged it down the ramp to catch anything in transition to see if he can put some damage
kill that
on some
fucking Reaver, man.
Free here.
No,
I mean,
no,
he can
no,
catch these
man.
carriers out in the
Keep
map. This is one of the
messing,
best
keep
ways to
messing.
catch carriers. But let's be careful, because now there'll be some ground forces of Mini coming to support these carriers in the sky. Has got a couple of tanks to fall back to. Barracks sort of making it work, but he's losing a few of
Okay,
these
nice
lives to this Reaver still. Very suboptimal from him, but he has got his natural after killing Minis, and Mini will now be down to just one base of mining.
Mini's not mining right now, bro.
There is a world in which Barracks can turn this into a win, but it's gonna be tough. He's like, oh, he loses another tank. He can't afford to lose any more tanks like this.
But at least the river is
Yeah,
gone, man.
he's losing a lot of these forces
there's
to that
no way,
one single
dude.
Reaver. That thing doing.
I thought this game was already over. What is going on?
This game, there's no tanks here on the ground. I see
It's
just
still
one
looking
has rallied
tough for
forward,
the Terran player, but
so he hasn't even sieged that up yet. Dragoons here.
that 6
underneath
carrier, bro.
are going to be a real problem, but the true
Plus the
issue
Dragoons.
is these 6 carriers that are going to start gunning down tanks one by one, coming forward and just getting these great trades. Doesn't matter if you're on one base mining, you can still afford to reproduce interceptors here, and I'm not sure that Barracks can afford to keep fighting them.
Yeah, 4 carriers able to fight, but 6
oh
is a
my
massive
God.
power spike for the Protoss. 3 of those 6 are pretty softened up, so Barracks is looking for one small mistake in the positioning from Mini to pounce onto that and target it down. Meanwhile, we'll just be hold positioning these Goliaths to try and gun down as many of those interceptors as possible with the Hellfire missiles with Cam boosted upgrade for the range, but I mean, it's not looking ideal. He's got 1-1 upgrades, hasn't got that +2 attack. He needs to find one small mistake from Mini to pounce onto those carriers. He could easily snipe like 2 or 3 carriers in quick succession if Mini just messed up one.
The fucking
one small
CC go
time.
take the first
So
base.
far, Mini doing a great job of avoiding those kind of blunders.
Oh, here's a chance. Get some damage on this carrier. Gets a little bit of damage there, but Mini just going to back away, go back over to this high ground, even going to get rid of the eBay now. No more turrets can be made. Tanks over here on the right-hand side. Barracks doing a good job of at least keeping the tanks out of the range of the carriers, not allowing them to be easily sniped down, and kind of baiting the carriers in deeper to go for those kills. More tanks coming out here. Another couple of Goliaths, but Barracks is down to his last few mineral patches. He's actually going to float the main base out to the third, try to get a little bit more income here to keep up with this carrier attack. Picking off some more interceptors here, but that's just so much damage coming out. Going to go after this refinery. Once that's gone, since he's lifted off his main base, he won't have any gas income at all, or just, I mean, yeah, nothing. I mean, unless he's long distance mining the main base, he's just not going to have gas.
He's not even mining the gas with 3 SCVs right now, and he's going to get that sniped either way. Not looking good for him. He has got a little bit banked up to make some Goliaths, but not forever. This is definitely an untenable position. Dragoons coming in to try and bust on the ground. There's some couple of siege tanks on the high ground, shelling those with their shot cannons, but this looks like it's too strong a force from Mini.
I can feel the pain as a Terran main, man.
Third base location.
Yeah, that's game,
natural
but
for Barracks.
I respect
to reposition the siege tank. He's going to try and target
the
the
attempt, dude.
CC now.
He made it closer than I thought it would be.
Him for unfavorable trades. He'll have to
This is
eventually
it,
push
like,
into his own trench at this rate. Suboptimal at best. And it looks like Mini's done it. The herd of the Goliaths has been thinned out enough now. He's going to have a field day shaving off these Terran units.
Yeah, he's done it. He's got in that crack between the two bases, the third base there on high ground in this natural. All the SCVs are practically dead now, and there's, again, no gas income at all. What do you even... You can't build anything. He cannot build anything. Not a single extra Goliath. And GG is finally called. Mini takes game number 1.
Wow.
Wow.
Holy fuck, dude.
I mean, these first 2 games of this series are probably the most important. And if you let Mini win both of them, you're in trouble, Barracks. There's almost 0 chance of winning the series if you allow Mini to find his mojo, get into his ebb and flow, and have the wind at his back going forward. Barracks needs to dig deep in this next game. Mini to become too confident in this series. It's almost guaranteed that he will lose. But if somehow he can tilt Mini on something like Screaming Sea, which is coming up next, there's definitely a way of Barracks turning everything around and getting underneath Mini's skin.
Yeah, this was Barracks' map pick Screaming Sea was chosen by Mini, so I'm assuming he has something funky to try and tear Barracks apart. What will it be, and will Barracks be able to keep up with it? Will he be able to decipher? I mean, he's done a great job here in game number 1, figuring out what was coming, but I swear, Shun, the Reaver in the natural was basically the clincher here. He got so much damage done with that one single Reaver, killing off a ton of Goliaths and just delaying that reinforcement train. Like, if there were just a few more Goliaths making their way to the front as he was pushing there into the natural, he would have saved so many of his tanks, and Mini wouldn't have been able to run him down like that and, you know, kill all of those tanks that were so crucial to this defense.
I think even more critically, though, we could have avoided this entirely if we were just more on top of our initial attack. We had those SCVs repairing the tanks in the natural. I think everything would look a little bit differently here, and maybe Mini wouldn't have even been able to get to carriers to begin with. And I don't think the observer pointing out some of the actual deciding factors of that match, more the cinematic climax of it. But guys, we're going to go into a little bit of a break here. Don't go anywhere. In just a couple, we'll be having Game 2 between Barracks versus Mini on Screaming Sea.
Here we go, guys. Game number 2 is going to be on Screaming Sea. Should be a fantastic match, and I cannot wait to see what Mini has in store here. We've not seen a whole lot of PBT on this match, but it certainly has potential for some really explosive games.
Yeah, I'm curious how it's going to play out. It is Mini's pick, so like we were saying, obviously he's got something in mind and prepared. It's very common that pretty much all 6 of the games in a best-of-7 series, they've got more or less mapped out in their head. It's usually only the final game of the series they tend to freestyle the most on, unless they're in an emotional state. You sometimes get a really high-level player making a mistake in the early game and then switching up their plan on the fly or what have you. But generally speaking, for the 6 of the 7 games, they've got a very specific build order or thing in mind.
Getting those stats on screen. Looks like probably an online poll here. A lot of people think that Mini is going to go forward, and Barracks, along with the entirety of the Terran race, will be going extinct tonight. That's morbid predictions there. We'll see if it comes to pass. I personally hope that Barracks makes it through.
I mean, I definitely, my heart is rooting for Barracks. My head says Mini's going to win this, but I would be over the moon if the underdog Barracks keeps the Terran spirits alive, and at the very least saying, get that seed for the next tournament in the next season of 21 and get straight through to that round of 16 and keeps his future hopes as alive as possible. If he can get into the round of 8 a few times in a row and eventually break into that semi-finals, that might give him a path to finally getting a championship.
Well, since we've got a little bit of time here because of the Google sponsorship, why don't we talk about game number 1 a little bit more? The 2 factors going to plan.
I don't need.
I'm so curious to see how.
Spawning top right. We've got Mini bottom left. Shaking his head already. Did he get the wrong spawn? He seemed like I'm not sure what that's all about. Like, there's a 50-50 chance here, Mini. Like, can't get tilted by that.
It's crazy. This guy tilts when he wins. He's honestly such an emotional player. And we've talked a lot in our cast that there's basically 2 archetypes of player. You've got a mechanical players like Barracks, and you've got emotional players like Mini. And the reality is that comes into effect a lot. If 1 or 2 things don't quite go your way as an emotional player, that could affect your entire performance. But it also is your biggest strength. It's like a double-edged sword. When you are feeling good, you're feeling great. So if Mini is able to perform the way he expects to, he will blast pretty much anyone on the planet. But as soon as things go awry, he falls apart, Sam.
Yeah, it's it's pretty typical here for Mini. Now, I think Mini's gonna Nexus first.
Yes, it looks like it.
It's really common on this map to go super greedy on both sides. We could even see
how
a
does
CC
Barrack
first
react to
out
this?
of Barracks.
Because he
But
went all in,
did
trying to
Mini
punish the
choose
Nexus
this
first,
map
double
just
gates.
to go Nexus first. I would have thought we would have seen some
And
sort of
barely didn't make it.
proxy from him here, but I
He's
guess
going
it's
Barracks
gonna
gas,
open really
standards,
greedy.
factory opener.
And then what's going to come from that? Is he going to... what kind of strategy are we going to see after this Nexus first?
I mean, as soon as that Nexus goes down, I just have this like mental image of like Terrans all around the world going, he can't keep getting away with it. It's kind of crazy.
Will you
how
accept
this has
that you're
become the
simply
meta. But
behind
there's
and
ways
play
of
from
countering
that?
this. You can go for a fast gas.
From there for
maybe
the rest of the
proxy
game,
third
or?
tree here and do a lot of damage.
I have no
before
idea how
Dragoons
Barracks
are
is
even
gonna
out.
deal with this.
So I mean, there are
Well, he
like, you
hasn't
don't
scouted
have
it
to
yet.
counter the 12 Nexus.
He doesn't
You
even
can
know
just
it's
do an
Nexus
eco build
first, so
yourself.
he's just playing a blind build right now.
Safe
Standard
variant of 12 Nexus,
factory
you actually
opener.
aren't too far behind in the SEV count at all because of them cutting probes to be safe. In this case, I don't think Mini is going to be doing the safe variant. He'll probably get the gas before the second gate. There it is now. So this is probably one of the stronger maps for 12 Nexus, unless the Terran is doing something like a proxy factory.
Yeah, it's disgustingly strong on this map.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
The greed here is so good for this map. There's really nothing you can do. He could even build a forge. Cybernetics corn high ground. Oh my god. Oh my goodness, the greed. No second gateway here. And Barracks, I mean, he just doesn't really have a chance to punish. I think this is kind of poorly calculated by Barracks going for this, what was it, 227 factory? Yeah, he's going to have a fast vulture, but the rush distance is so insane. It's so long, and you're going to have to fight up the high ground if you bring Marines over here. You're going to have to push up high ground with this chance against a Zealot and a
This is
Dragon.
like the equivalent of Reaper Expand, you
I
can
understand
say.
why, because you're
In
worried
World
about
War.
some shenanigans on the Protoss. Like, it's very possible that the Protoss
But,
just proxies a
like,
gateway
look
or
at-
something. So if you do go for your own CC
Protoss is
first,
already
Rachel,
mining on two
just like the answer
bases.
from Barracks, gonna be a Vulture drop instead.
With a Dragoon
Trying
on
to
the
see if we
way.
can catch Mini being a little bit too greedy and not having two
And
Dragoons
Terran just
inside
started
his main
his
and natural
expansion.
to prevent something
Okay,
like a Vulture
starport.
drop
So
from
it's gotta be a
decimating him. I'm sure Mini though
Vulture
has
drop.
had this calculated well enough, and he knows that Barracks is a student of Light, and Light is very
So
well
1-1-1.
known for going for Vulture drops in this matchup in particular. So
The
he
tech
should
lab
be
is
able
for
to be
Vulture
safe against
speed.
this. We'll see.
So okay, so one gate.
Yeah, we'll
Nexus
see.
first,
We'll
one gate
hold our
robo,
breath here, see
observer,
if,
basically.
Mini
To be safe
can
against the
block this,
Vulture
'cause if he
mines.
does block successfully the drop that's coming in here, I mean, he's going to be a light year ahead of Barracks, who's just got his CC on the way now. This is like the fastest you can get a dropship out and still be somewhat economical. You know,
Right.
he went the fastest factory you can get, and then immediately into Starport.
Oh, that Dragoon, man. Holy shit.
Oh boy, a lot of damage on this Vulture. He actually needs to keep these alive desperately, otherwise the drop is just not going to go his way. You kind of want to have
Needs to
extra
go back to
Vultures
the
as
repair.
well, not just four in the drop. You
Can't
want to have
even
extras
do that,
to try
no.
and
Yes.
run by into the natural while the drop is happening to kind of
Yeah.
guarantee some sort of damage.
Yeah, as soon as they pull their Dragoons back to deal with a drop, you want to pressure the natural. And if there's just like one Dragoon there, you can even just lay mines on top of it and hope that they're not paying enough attention to shuffle the Dragoon back so that you get an easy mine connection on that and
Okay, so
get
he
a
does
run by
repair
into the
this.
natural. And sometimes
That's the
they
drop
don't even have
ship.
a Dragoon in the wall, they just are desperate clearing up the drop and you get a free run by into the natural as a
He needs
result.
so much
Just like Mini, you're going to be loading
stuff
up
to
poison
go
for
his
an island.
way.
He's got a probe in that shuttle saying he's going to take
Just
an early
to-
island expansion.
catch up.
This could actually go in
Yes.
Barracks' favor
Barracks' favor.
quite a lot, because he's going to be dropping. He's got a Dragoon over here. He's got a Zealot over here. He's going to drop the probe. And this is coming in hot. He's going to do so much damage. And there's two pylons over here. He's going to see it coming. But is he going to have the defense in the wall as well? There's going to be vultures coming in the side as well as this drop.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get too many of the probes because of
not
the
even a
Obsidian
single one probe.
And his reaction time with that
2,
probes.
3,
But I mean, this is still better than nothing. This is
4,
like kind of like second best scenario here
5,
for Barracks. This is going to get still
6,
some sizable amount of damage. He's not going to get a mind kill
7,
on the probes, unfortunately. Does kill enough probes to make it not totally dead in the water. He's
second
getting
starport.
a second starport, and he's going to be going cloaked race. Are you kidding me, Barracks? This is kind of high-level play. I'm not sure if he's capable of pulling this off, but certainly a way of dealing with
if he scans and snipes the observers
and being able to shut down expansion.
He could murder a bunch of pros, but he needs a lot of raids. Raids do like
I mean, they can't make infinite
tickle damage to ground units.
Scan and snipe those as well, and actually Wraiths versus Protoss is very viable.
I don't really know what to say about this one. So I'm going to poor.
The observer is already gonna see that, man.
Here and then not really getting the damage he's looking for. I'm a little bit.
I don't know
sad
if he's
that didn't just target down as many probes as he could
knows,
as well. Like
man.
throwing down those mines.
He's so on raid. He's not 2 already.
Type of play that
with the
not
observer
go in his favor. Now he's in a tough spot here with actually no reaction from. Mini, only 1 probe going down so far. He needs to get a little bit more than this. 1, 2 probes. That's all he can get. 2 probes. Like, he just hasn't gotten the damage. I mean, maybe this is viable to build a bunch of raids. Like, he sees it. He sees it as well. All right, Mini's just gonna build cannons. Cannons are gonna go up everywhere, and this game is over.
I mean, he's got like
mines
2-0,
I guess.
Mineral line, just in case that there was aggression.
I respect the attempt, but
dude, you're not wrong. Like so
and
far,
Mini's going 4 bases, like
make your game to be in a good position. But maybe
your starships, bro, no problem.
Coming out with some cloak race. There is an observer, but shutting down the shuttle is a big deal here. And there's only 1 Dragoon, so he can actually bully that. And he's got a dropship in. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. There's a way of making this work, saying. It's going to be a little bit tricky for Mini to keep calm under this weird game state that he finds himself in. If the micro from Barracks is strong, if he starts killing
2 siege tanks, gonna siege the natural.
He's going to get the tanks behind the mineral lines.
Wow.
Okay.
We're cooking.
It's going to be so annoying to Mini.
But Mini's just going to transfer those probes to the
I did not expect
in the
Mini
north.
to drop a Reaver over there on that island. Like, what is going on here? What am I even witnessing? He saw that there was 2
that's a cute
starports.
play, man.
Like, he definitely saw that, and he hasn't prepared for it really at all. He should have cannons coming up now, but there's tanks on this high ground, which means that he's just not going to let the shuttles approach, and then he can move over and start hitting the base on the right-hand side here pretty soon. Oh my gosh, he's going to catch this shuttle. He's completely denying the airplay right now.
And he's tilting.
Mini is tilting.
Scan there,
snipe
the observer. That will
he
be
has
so
a
good.
Nexus over at the 3rd. He needs to transfer probes over there. His probes have been
I just said that
way
a minute
oversaturated
ago.
in the main for too long. Need to get over there and start getting some more mining going. And Barracks is just powering up. He's getting a whole bunch of factories. Dude, I think this is really getting under his skin now.
My star senses are tingling, saying this is sick from Barracks. He just needs to execute. He can certainly start to run rings around Mini and continue to tilt him. He's not been able to mine anything but the gas in his natural.
There's not enough raids there, man.
The shuttle now. He doesn't quite target the shuttle in time. So the Reaver and Dragoon do get out, but he can save that tank. In the
play too greedy, man. Left
still being super
leave 2
annoying.
raids
He's putting
there.
so many factories behind this. He's just barely training behind
his
the supply.
contain is
Mini
over, man.
Definitely could turn this into a really interesting game now that he's got all of his factory producing units and might be able to apply some pressure still with these wraiths in the sky. Mini, though, has built a cannon at the island expansion, so we'll be enjoying a pretty strong economy now that he's able to mine his natural at long last.
Mini really hasn't even been able to think about trying to put any pressure onto Barracks. So Barracks just been at home macroing like crazy. He's got a lot of tanks now. He's got a lot of vultures. He's going to start this push. Will Mini be ready for it? He had a huge halt to his economy there with that drop over the wall. Wasn't able to mine for a really long time. He's got a few gateways in the main, but I'm not sure if he has enough. He might just not have enough stuff to actually stop this attack. It's very possible. He even takes a mine connection before the fight occurs, and there's raids here to potentially try to snipe this shuttle. Tank, cannon in the main mineral line.
There's no bolt.
The
Bro!
Reaver goes down. Dude, is
Okay, there's no salads.
I think he's doing it.
There's no salads
He's
to
almost doing it.
support.
It's a shame about the
Okay.
dropship in the
You
main
need
base,
fucking
because I think if
vultures,
he
man.
was a bit more attentive about that. He could have
Because
gotten
if
the
Spilats
vulture
swarm
out of
the
range
siege
of their
tanks, it's
cannon and
over,
done
man.
more economic damage to Mini. He was kind of just setting up as cost efficient as a 1-2 punch as possible.
they're on the
But he's still
vultures.
doing it thus far. He's starting to eclipse the supply of Mini. Mini could be in a world of hurt where he can't muster a large enough standing army to halt this Terran advance. He's getting more and more tanks to the front lines right now. Mini has a bit of a flank setup on the left, but it's not that strong of a flank that Barracks will be slowed down right now. He can just roll on to this natural third location. Mini could be in trouble here.
Well, Mini can sack this base.
Yeah, he can
Because
buy
he's
time,
got another base,
make a bunch of
an
units.
island, right? So
and then
he
engage.
is still one base ahead, even after sacking this. And he could potentially take another island afterwards, too, right? He can send a probe over to top left, something like that. As long as he slips by the rates and just gets a pylon down with some cannons, then he can have another expansion up. It'll be very, very quick. Barracks is getting a little bit of a win here, but he's still not expanding for himself. There it is. His CC just starts over at his third.
Okay, that's good.
But Mini is building up here, and he's getting a bit of a supply advantage now. Can he crack through this well-positioned army? It's in such a tight choke, it'll be very hard to beat with just pure gateway man.
I mean, the question is, does Barracks make a big blunder positionally against Mini? Because Mini has this ability to wrap around and kind of drive a wedge between the reinforcement line of Barracks and catch some
there are turrets,
positions
right?
they unsiege.
Yeah.
But it looks like Barracks is going to rotate backwards and attack this 9 o'clock from the backside towards the bridge, defending and
so
attacking
lot
at
of
the same
speed
time
lots,
now,
man.
trying to force Mini into a
Oh
frontal
my god,
engagement
here we
shuttle,
go.
trying to get some units out there, but the race preventing the shuttle from going too deep and
Target
diving
them.
onto those siege tanks.
Oh.
Good target firing onto the Reaver as well from Barracks.
That scared
Majority of the
hit
tanks
4
are on the low
tanks,
ground,
bro.
So Mini should get some
Oh,
good
here comes
chance.
the
Pick
speed
up
lots,
massive
man.
train Of Zealots
Yeah,
and
that-
there's not enough vultures to clean them up in time. Mini in a pretty commanding position right now, chopping through this Terran Metal, even a Dark Templar with its war
Scared?
base,
Hello?
so much DPS, and Barracks doesn't notice the invisible man.
Solid, really, really solid target fire from Barracks there.
Yeah,
From
he
just
made sure to
only
target
shooting
fire the
with
dragoons.
his tanks. It looked like those Zealots were just going to completely overwhelm him, but he made
Alright,
sure that he
holy
didn't
shit,
take any
man.
unnecessary splash damage
He's
from his
making it
own
happen.
units, kept the target fire on the Dragoons, and wiped out the whole Dragoon army. He's managed to take out this high ground as well. It was looking dire there as the remainder of the units came down, but Mini bottlenecked himself coming down that ramp, and he is in a really desperate situation now.
My mouth was literally.
I think the
hanging
Protoss
open.
is
I
dead
can't
now,
believe what
dude.
I'm watching.
Oh, you don't
Barracks
stop
is
this.
playing
Like,
so
this is
good.
when
I
Terran
thought
is
he was in a little bit
insanely
of trouble
strong.
with that trade, but oh my gosh, he's gonna start targeting down these High Templars as well. Some blankets of Storm in a panic, trying to hold.
Yeah,
the
you're
line
gonna
against
damage
Barracks.
some
Not
vultures,
successful,
but
though. I
Protoss
think
is
Barracks starting to
fine.
really
I mean,
do
Terran
it
is
now,
fine.
saying
Oh,
he's
that
applying
last
so much
storm.
pressure. He just needs to keep his tanks slightly spread out and avoid any cost efficiency.
Those
from
were
that
very
storm,
decent
from the high
storms,
ground.
but the next
He can
reinforcement
really
of
tilt
units-
Mini in a big way. Mini trying to take a live expansion in the center of the map now to
I think
replenish
Mini's
that
dead, bro.
base he just lost. But if Barracks just rams it down right now,
This is when
there
Terran
might
is, like,
not be enough
insanely
for Mini
strong.
to defend against.
Oh, he's
this.
gonna
This is
push
insane.
now,
He's gonna
but
go for one last
yeah,
two
he's
round,
fucked.
trying to
He's
push out
cooked.
with a big storm, but it only connects with like one unit, not really finding the damage necessary. There is not enough splash here to stop Barracks, and he's upsetting Mini on Mini's map pick, currently ahead in supply. And as long as he can keep this going, finally calls the GG from Mini.
Let's
he
go.
takes off his head,
Let's fucking go,
and his
man.
face screws up there. You can tell.
Oh, we have a
Mini
1-1
is
series.
not
Kill
happy
Alpha.
with that.
Absolutely not,
Ah.
Sean. This is what we were talking about. Barracks throwing a wrench into the plans of Mini with that 2-port Wraith play. That
Yeah,
was
Mini.
not expected.
This is Mini's
at
mistake.
all.
Like,
We
he
were
saw
certainly
with
surprised
time
by
the
it, but Barracks
raids.
made it work, getting in there behind that mineral line
Tech
with
switch
those tanks
or, like,
and
cheese.
dealing a huge amount of damage.
He wasn't-
You can see it, Mini.
Like, he didn't defend
is
it well
feeling a
enough,
little
and
bit
he
tilted
started
here.
scaling from there.
He's on an angle right now, and he's watching
He
the
knows it.
replay
He's like-
to see exactly what went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that just did not go to plan to him. And I knew those Wraiths would come in to play in a big way, saying, like, just shutting down the mobility.
Even
of
the
Mini
baby
like
girls
that,
know.
and getting a tactical advantage by not allowing the mining of the natural. Really high-level stuff from Barracks. I mean, I'm sure he had help from Light or some other really high-level Terran in figuring out that kind of play, but it was spectacular, saying. Like, my star senses were tingling for a lot of that match. Barracks is on a different planet right now. And if he can go the distance against Mini, I'm going to be so impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. He's already impressed me here today, making that 2-port Wraith work and taking the map. Screaming Sea. We're going to jump into our next one, guys. Metropolis. Let's go.
Here we go, guys. The ASL Season 20, Round of 8, Game number 3 between Barracks and Mini. Let's get it started. The map. It's Metropolis.
No, so great fucking drop, man. Using the map on his advantage.
Bottom left. Mini. Top
And sieging
right.
the natural.
Fantastic victory there in that last one. Maybe
The thing is that all of this
giving Barracks the momentum he needs.
it's not rocket
to seize
science in,
control of
let's say,
this series.
StarCraft
What has he
2,
got
because
here
all of the
for
ideas that
specific
he came up
Metropolis?
with, or what we...
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange map. And
There's nothing
Sometimes
crazy,
it
it's
can
just
really come down to
effective
what spawns you get to dictate how the
gameplay
game's
according
gonna
to the
go.
map, but
But with these spawns, I mean,
hard
you might
part
be
is
thinking,
to
oh,
execute all of
cross-map,
this in
favoriting
Brood War, man, like...
Protoss here. Easy 12
The
nexus.
micro and
Yeah,
macro
you kind of
here
want
is
to
insanely
avoid
hard,
the
so
Protoss
this,
to be knee of
that,
third
this is
base.
why this is really impressive, man.
Barracks ideally doesn't want Protoss in the bottom
Executing
right,
all
him in
this
the bottom
shit
left, for
in
example.
Brood
The
War.
Protoss can expand away from the
Good
Terran,
fucking luck with that,
the
man.
natural third, and Terran forced to expand towards the Protoss. In these spawns, it's not too bad.
No tengo ni
It's
idea,
good
Alpha.
for Barracks. Yes, you still have to contend with the fact that it's hard to punish an
El fresco mexicano que ha sido un éxito en Corea, no tengo ni idea.
Bulldog shenanigans in the mid-game phase.
Pues siempre están tomando
Seems
su
like there's not gonna be a
pinche
Nexus first here, Mini. Opting
Red
for
Bull,
some
no sé qué
zealot
mierda,
pressure with the
¿no?
forward
Su
gateway.
trago ahí de la
Will be looking to get in the face
ASL,
of Bears,
GSL.
kind of mess up his early game plans.
hot no
What are
sé
we
qué
gonna see
madres.
for the timing of Barracks? Looks like a 12 gas is going to be his choice. Not going to opt for a really fast vulture here, although his timings have been on point so far. He's been able to get out some really nice, crisp early units.
¿Ah, sí?
Yeah, I'm
Pues no me sorprende porque los carritos son muy ricos, güey. A mí me gusta mucho el de piña. Pero no sabía, güey. Curioso dato.
Maybe just wants to apply pressure to Barracks and guarantee some kind of counterplay.
Si yo pudiera pedir una cerveza en la audiencia del ASL, yo pediría una cerveza.
14cc and he was unable to punish it. I think Mini would be
Una modelo
So
especial
maybe that's the reason we don't see that from Mini here. Just
o
wants
una,
to some kind of ability to disrupt any early eco greed from Barracks. But that means he's not going to get away with a
Corta el
cross-map
nombre de
nexus
esta
first.
cerveza.
That gives a lot of life to Barracks now.
Pero bueno, algo
Here
así.
we go. 229 factory from Barracks. His timing's on point. No second Marine just yet. The Zealot making its way across the map. I'm going to start that second Marine now. We'll see the Zealot as it approaches. And I believe he's going to have at least 2 to 3 Marines out by the time this gets in. How will he
Necesitas un SCV y 3 Marines para parar esto. Esto es un prob y un Zealot.
Microing against an early Zealot. He doesn't have a supply depot on the side. There it is. He sets it up at the very last second.
Precioso ese
He
depot.
needs something to
Porque se pueden
micro.
meter los marinos.
Yeah, well, Mini putting the gateway in the natural avoids any cross-map shenanigans of having 3
Oh,
Marines ahead of
excelente,
schedule. So he's able to get
excelente,
in
cabrón.
and apply pressure to steal. But
Chulada de micro, chulada.
Good
No ha perdido
Let's
nada.
take a couple of punch
ese
combinations.
Marine.
One of those Marines, he got body blocked by his own SCV there just for a second. Needs to avoid disaster and not take any more further damage for free. He's almost
Excelente,
just
cabrón.
barely getting that Marine, not quite. Does take out the Zealot pretty cost efficiently. Really well done from
Sáquese a la
Barracks.
verga.
basically when the Protoss makes the gateway in the natural like this, you don't
Eso
have
se
to
ve
worry
sencillo, pero
about
no es sencillo.
the rush timings
Es
being
bastante
unfavorable
difícil.
across the board. You can just still run it down and get there before the third Marine pops out, but
Al lado limón y
wasn't
sal
able
de
to get the damage
grano.
he was
Ah,
looking
huevo.
for with that Zealot Probe combination. And now, with this Vulture out on the map, might be able to
Está lloviendo
pin
bien cabrón.
the
It's fucking
Dragoons
raining
like
right now.
Mini in the early game and prevent Mini from having any map control or even the ability to identify this as a command center. Like, he doesn't know this is a 2 factory or not right now. So actually, statistically speaking, this is great for Terran. Like, they have no vision, no idea what's even the Terran is doing behind.
Yeah, they don't know what Terran
this
is
puts
doing.
Mini into a slightly uncomfortable position now.
He has to play defensive.
Zealot really, really well handled, honestly. Watching Barracks dodge that Zealot by splitting the Marines like that, very impressive. Super hard to do. He was doing that all on the fly and handling it with some real class. Ended up losing a Marine, but definitely showcasing his micro and skill in dealing with some of these early game attacks. Generally, we think of Mini as like this kind of god of early game engagements. He's so good with his Zealots and Dragoons in low numbers. He's not quite as good as Best when it comes to those big mid and late game engagements, but he is incredible with his early game control, and Barracks kind of outdoing him just a little bit.
Yeah, I used to think of Mini as like basically the optimizer Protoss, where he's able to min-max his build orders and timings in not quite the same way as these other guys, and I think that advantage has dissipated a little bit. Everyone's just so good now, and they've like really ironed out the creases in their own play and figured out all these kind of min-maxy ways of approaching the
Reaper
early game.
drop?
But I still think
Reaper
Mini is
drop.
kind of like one of the OG Protoss players that
Standard
is so good
gameplay
at, like cutting
from
these
both.
razor-thin corners and mineral optimizing to their heart's
Mines
content and doing
outside
things
the
that other players
natural
couldn't
and the
do.
third base
And that
of the
also
Protoss.
includes his early game pressure with the control of his units, but I don't think Mini's comfortable right now. I really feel like Mini isn't happy with this position.
Well, he's being surrounded at present, full surround of Vulture mines. Barracks has full control here. Gonna be able to see the moment when Mini decides that he wants to take a third base and can look to try and snipe this probe, but will he be able to get in there? Doesn't look like he's in the area with some vultures and doesn't have vulture speed done just yet. And indeed, Mini gonna go ahead and start to set this up. Will be coming out with the Reaver now, looking for some damage. Can he start to change his fates here? Can he start to change the situation with a bit of good micro on Metropolis? There's so much area in this main base to drop and to start to engage with the Terran player.
I'm more curious how Barracks wants to handle this. Like, does he want to go mid-range style and get a lot of factories and guaranteeing taking a fast third with a lot of meat on the bone for Mini to chew through? Or is he going to go a bit tech mech style and stay a little bit light on these factories and focus more on his tech and upgrades? We'll have to wait and see. It's hard to decipher just yet. He'll start to add the factories now if he is doing something like a 5 factory play. I see a few SUVs moving over. Here come the additional factories now, so it's going to be 5 factory. Not necessary to be aggressive here.
Carlos
It's in the meta
observers.
to just get a lot of factories and a lot of units and have so much available that it's easy to secure this third base rather than risking
Observer
being
inbound.
bulldogged over.
Has he misread the situation? Does he not know that there's going to be a Reaver coming soon, or is he not prepared
Maybe.
for it? Because I see one turret. The base.
Oh, this is gonna hurt, bro. Oh my god.
Oh, wow. Huge hit here. Targeting on the Marine, by the way, to make sure that that will
Oh,
connect.
gosh.
Really, really nice heads-up play from Mini. Gets a huge amount of damage, and yeah, there's just not enough turrets. No Goliaths either. I expected to see Goliaths pop out by now. I thought that he was going to be getting that Karen booster upgrade, but we see neither of these two add-ons spinning, and he just did not build enough turrets. Barracks just not expecting the Reaver play, I guess. Oh!
Wow.
Line connection there! Huge mistake for Mini. Okay, he's just gotta throw away that lead. Whatever he just got with the kills on the SCVs there, that's just been thrown the other direction now.
Did he lose the fucking river? I thought only the Zealots.
Hand of God striking down Mini's confidence in this game. What was that?
I mean, he still fucking killed like 10 SCVs, bro.
Saw it pop up from the Zealot dropping out first. Crazy how he's gone from not having an adequate enough shuttle Reaver defense to suddenly slapping down the harassment entirely. Did lose a total of like 8 or 9 or so units to that Reaver though. But massive timing for Barracks to start launching ahead with his units. Not enough to slow him down. Finally, one more additional Reaver brought to bear in the center to start to halt this Terran advance. Barracks, though, with a big timing window, trying to ram it down right now. Killing 2 Dragoons for 1 tank, not the worst of trades when you're in this position. You're just playing for tempo at this point to try and get all the way over to this third base from the Protoss.
Yeah, he's going to be spreading out here now. Can he target on the Reaver? Good juggling from Mini. Does lose the Reaver.
Nice target fire, bro.
He picks it off. Not the best control from Mini with the Reavers so far, losing a lot of them and running out of units here to defend this third. I think that Barracks
I still think Protoss is fine, dude.
He's going to get turrets over here and start to smack down this third base. He's actually pushing directly
I mean, I don't
towards the
know. It's
natural now.
such a
SCV
hard
needs
call,
to survive,
but
pull that back. He needs a turret right now.
he's targeting fire really well.
Man,
The Reaver drops.
Sense tingles from the way Barracks is playing. This is exactly what he needs to win the entire series, not just this game, but getting under Mini's skin in the first few games is
The fucking Observer on
to
top
be
of
able to take
everything,
the
man.
whole series down, and he's doing it. Mini's starting to fall apart a little bit here. Beautiful leapfrogging of the tanks, well spread out as well to avoid any splash damage, giving a comeback mechanic. Mini gonna try and dive in it with a couple of Zealot bombs onto those tanks, force an unsiege and try and pounce on with the Dragoons at the front and the Reaver from behind, doing a pretty good job of that. Is there enough for Barracks to close this out right now? He's ramming it down in a big way. Massive mine connections on those Dragoons as well. The Reaver is on.
Oh my god, bro.
Vultures in the natural. Gonna be start shaving off probes as well. Barracks is doing it. He doesn't even need to kill the third.
Wow.
Reaver. He's gonna be looking for that win condition right here, right now, saying Mini in a bit of disarray, trying to stabilize, but being unsuccessful.
Oh, now it's looking really bad for Mini, man.
In the natural.
He is sieging
Barracks
between the natural and
closing
third
in
base.
on victory here, game number 3. Desperate to try and get some damage done. He drops the Reaver and gets an amazing connection, but the Reaver goes down. Barracks is shoving it down. He's so close to winning this game right now, but will there be enough for Mini? He's faltering in his macro just slightly here, dipping over 1,000 minerals as he desperately tries to control his Reavers and get the damage here before this really becomes a solid defensive position. Barracks, he's got the turret up.
He's done it.
The turret is burning, but it's up, and he's pushing him all the way back into the corner. There's nothing that Mini can do now.
I'm getting like tingles all the way down the back of my head and neck right now, saying he's done it. Like, once you get the turrets set up like this with the tanks, it's almost impossible for the Protoss to break out. He's done it. He's going to try and go for a bomb, but it shouldn't trade well enough to win. He can just target fire the Dragoons with the tanks, and the Vultures clean up the Zealots. This should be a good hold. He gets the Reaver as well. GG!
Oh, brother.
2-1 up in the series.
Wow.
Such an impressive play from Barracks, but this all came from the Reaver that died in the natural to that one mine, and I'm sure Mini is going to be looking back on that that moment when he dropped.
I mean, I'm not so sure. Like, the Reaver still paid off, got insane damage, but the thing is that
he had
that Reaver is supposed to do damage and also help
with the Zealot and kept the Reaver in
to
the
slow
zone.
down the Terran
To deal
push, the
so
timing
much
they have.
harassment damage
And because
and
he lost
keep
that
Barracks
Reaver-
on the back foot, but as soon as that Reaver was dead, all the greed that Barracks got
Barracks
away with
was
by
like,
not
"Alright,
preparing
go."
fully for the Reaver came to fruition.
Immediately
His
pushed.
push timing was super strong, and with no Reaver to continue that harassment, he just wasn't able to shut this down. Really solid control overall from Barracks. I feel like we should just be watching that mine connect on the Reaver there, but we're going to get a shot here of the Reaver going down. That was a huge moment as well. Great target fire from Barracks overall.
His mechanics are so solid. Have you noticed how, like, during the early phase, he was just kind of, scraping by with like 300 APM and like just kind of chilling and going through the motions? During this portion of the game, he shot up to 400 APM, Guy's playing out of his mind right now. Beautiful target firing, like you say, and not doing the typical Terran mistakes of like having all your tanks clumped up. He was extra tentative about keeping these split. You can see the leapfrogging of the tanks here. Just is almost perfection from Barracks. This is really high-level Terran stuff that we're seeing. You guys on the ladder have got no excuses. This is how you should be initiating your advances as Terran, keeping the tanks split and always gaining ground while macroing back at home. And this is just a real spectacle that Barracks is giving for us back at home to witness.
Yeah, no excuses at all. Just play like Barracks, and you'll win all your games. That's fantastic. Nice target on that Reaver as well. I didn't realize that it was that low, but the moment that Barracks targeted it down with the Vultures was a pretty huge move that allowed those Vultures to stay alive a little bit longer and to continue to deal that harassment.
La esperanza de los Terran. El último Terran que queda vivo.
Ultimately helped
The
to
last
swing
Terran
that
alive.
fight. A great series so far.
This was also the guy
in the Leech, and I'm so excited.
Oh, so
was
we
key
got Litmus
to
coming up.
eliminate
Gonna be a real
Sulky
litmus test
in the
for
previous
this series
group
in
or
general.
rounds.
Will Mini reestablish his footing or just fall apart
In a best of one.
entirely? I mean, what a way to kick off this series. A lot of you guys probably didn't
Sulky
expect
has been
Barracks
the
to
champ
be in a winning
4
position
times in
at
a
any
row.
point during
In
this
Barracks,
best of 7, and that has come to pass. This is what he needs to take the
took a
series.
game
If
out
he
of
is going
him.
to win, it has to be with a few early points on the board
Helping to
tilt
eliminate him,
Mini
basically.
and set himself up for these later maps in the series, which are more macro-centric maps, which do favor Terran compared to some of these more niche maps in the early phases, which allow for a lot more cheesy play from the Protoss. So he's essentially done it. He's gotten over the hurdle. He could go all the way.
Is making it work here. And I mean, getting just that little bit of luck as well, right? Like that mine connection, it was definitely a well-placed mine, but the fact that it took out the Reaver, we hardly ever see that happen at the highest level. Almost no Protoss players are dropping their Reaver and losing it to a mine. It's just so rare. Mistakes like that can happen, but Barracks is getting a little bit lucky here, and it's definitely starting to tilt Mini, man. I can feel it. Like this is not going his way, and he is not liking the way that this series has gone so far. The luck in the series is definitely not turning out in his favor. I mean, he didn't even get the spawn he wanted on Screaming Sea.
Right. I mean, I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked for Barracks in general. Like, he's come such a long way. He's been an up-and-coming Terran now for quite some years and hasn't really enjoyed too much success in the ASL until recent times.
Is closing in on that round of 4 spot. His first ever round of 4 appearance. Will it be through taking out Mini in this series? He looks super calm, as he has throughout this whole series so far. Things have been going his way, and it looks like Mini, yes, very tilted here. Not looking his best. Can he play at his absolute peak?
I mean, let's be honest, StarCraft is one of the toughest games on the planet because it forces you to confront your own ego. It's as much a psychological game as it is a skill game, kind of like something like poker in that regard, where you're not just like thinking of statistics and odds and the best possible move given what situation you're in, but also just keeping your head in the game, and the composure is just as important, if not more important most of the time. And yeah, Mini does not look like he's locked in right now.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking about his game plan for this upcoming map. Litmus is next, rather than the errors and mistakes in those previous games. Very important to keep your head on the future, to remember that this is only game 3, or game 4, excuse me, of a best of 7. Anything can happen.
Absolutely, Sam. I think we're about to get into it, though, guys. The ASL Season 20, Round of 8, Game number 4, between Barracks versus Mini. Let's get it started. And the map is going to be Litmus.
Hype is real, bro. Let's
Barracks
go.
Spawning top right. Mini in the bottom right on Litmus. Bit of a missed split there from Barracks. It happens. We saw earlier in the series, or earlier in the tournament, was it Best messed up his early split and actually had a probe travel over the mineral patches. Still managed to win, though. It is just a bit of a hit to your mental game when something like that goes wrong so early on in the game.
Absolutely. I think it's very common when you're in these high-octane tournament situations and nerves are just being threatened every which way. And, you know, sometimes you try and compensate by, like, you know, flicking your hand as intensely as possible when you're clicking on things. And sometimes you misclick, especially in the early game before you found your stride. And these early mistakes definitely very common. And very quick probe from Mini. We've talked a little bit how it's basically impossible to gas steal here because there's, you know, two guys obviously, but it seems like Mini wants not only a quick scout but to put on pressure here with some harassment.
Yeah, it seems like I kind of theorized, I kind of thought that we weren't going to see early scouts like this with the fact that you can't gas steal, but I guess just that the fact that it's a two-player map and you can guarantee get in here and deal some damage with the probe, that seems to be enough for the Protoss to still want to go for this very early probe coming across the map. Like, I really thought that this wasn't going to happen, but I mean, think about the value.
The probes are insanely annoying.
He's already pulling off an SCV, and I mean, if he was able to steal the gas like a regular two-player map, that's just how strong Protoss is on two-player maps. Crazy.
Yeah, and even like temporarily pulls off another SCV to repair. So you, for a short time, have got two SCVs not mining, and at the very least one SCV not mining this entire time. Kind of compensates and pays for the fact that you're probe scouting this early, and you have the potential of maybe killing an SCV or, you know, forcing a bit of a mind game by, you know, threatening your opponent's mental state by having to deal with this harassment at all. And now Ra was like one of the first gamers of all time to do this kind of style where you would actually go for.
Es que al principio sí, güey, ese micro de worker,
sending a lot of workers
tanto para atacar como para defender,
actually just out microing
es muchísimo.
to the point where you were losing the game.
Y si no estás al tiro, tú como Terra, sin ningún problema, el prop te mata un SCV.
Adapted into a bit more of an economic variant where
el prop tiene uno más de rango que el SCV.
Really showing how nimble and valuable having that range advantage.
El SCV tiene 0 de rango. Y es como más fácil mover el prop que el SCV, entonces la ventaja del SCV es que tiene más vida. Bien ahí el SCV, los 3 Marines para defender el primer celo.
Slow things down ever so slightly here.
Ya viene otro celo.
Who's already got his factory on the way, of course. We'll have 3 Marines here in the front. Ooh, he's gonna lose 1 Marine for sure.
Y viene otro Zealot,
dive there, going very deep with that first Zealot. Can he actually kill the Zealot? It's so low, 13 HP, but it will back off. Second Zealot arrives, but the barracks, the bunker will finish.
Yeah, I mean, this is going pretty okay for Barracks. So just losing a single Marine.
Bloqueo the next
for the price of taking down.
Whoa.
He's actually trying to block the Nexus here by building a supply depot. Interesting choice. Usually it's an engineering bay, but harder to place that down once you got a probe in your face. So use a smaller building to do that, but doesn't really delay the expansion by too much. You're gonna try and hop over the Zealots over this stasis chambers. Gets both of them, 2 for the price of 1. Nice execution from Mini.
Eso es un bug ahí que puedes hacer. En vez de romper esa torre y tener acceso, llegas de la parte norte en vez de la parte sur a la natural. Uy, se va directo a la main. No tiene vulture, no tiene nada. Esto va a ser caótico para el Terran. Digo, no se va a morir con esto, pero saca a los Marines y pasa el dragón, güey, porque no hay Marines en el búnker.
The Marines here, this one Zealot.
Como la Factory hizo Tecla, no había ningún Vulture, no había nada.
The Fusion Cutter is great. The SCV pull here actually getting right on top of these Zealots, blocking them out. And now the Marines can deal some damage. This is a pretty good hold so far, but it's not over yet. Another Dragoon making its way into the main. And there's going to be a tank popping out soon. Will Mini be able to dive on top of that tank and possibly kill it as it pops out?
I mean, he's in position to do that. It's just about to come out now in a few
qué asco, güey.
Barracks is desperate to get some support.
Okay, sale el tanque.
Here it comes now.
Pero los dragones lo van a matar,
He can't even repair that tank quickly enough. Does get us around on one of those dragoons, but the damage is done. Losing that first tank is critical. Can he clear up this other dragoon quickly enough to make this a stabilization without too much damage sustained? Already though, Mini in a very commanding position, especially with Barracks struggling to clean up these forces. Another dragoon is going to get in here.
Looks like Mini will have to back out now.
Bien encerrado.
Nice catch there on the ramp. I mean, that's something. That's something here for Barracks. Things really
Qué horror,
going
güey.
his way.
¿Sabes cuánto daño le hizo al Terran? Dude, the Terran is like insanely slowed down
Very good
here.
move from him there to catch that on the ramp. Finally, things going a little bit Mini's way by getting those two Zealots over in just one pass with the probe there to jump over top of those mineral patches.
Honestly, I don't think this is bad for Barracks at all. Like, think about it like this. He's mining his natural more or less at the same time as Mini is. And he did compensate for losing that tank by killing all of those Zealots and an additional Dragoon on the ramp. This isn't too bad for Barracks. He can apply pressure while Mini is just on one gateway worth of production, being very greedy and thinking about a fast third base here. Might be punished by Barracks now. He's trying to get into the face of Mini in that natural expansion with this siege tank. He's only got one gateway worth of production. If he gets a couple of good placed mines in that natural, this could be great, but he's losing the tank. Bit of an overstep from Barracks. Needs to quickly fall back to
Buenísimo el
the
target fire
of Mini. While the
Tienes que salvar
second
el
vulture
tanque, ¿no?
arrives to
No,
lay
lo va a
down more
jugar.
mines. Still a bit of a tactical advantage
Oh,
for
esas minas,
Barracks here, but he needs to be careful not to overextend.
There's going to be a Reaver out here soon as well, Shun. So, I mean, regardless of whether or not, you know, he gets in here. Oh man, he's going to lose a Vulture. He wasn't paying attention. A rallied Vulture dies for free. Oh boy, he's going to have a hard time holding this Reaver, man. Like, I see what you're saying about Barracks having some potential to attack in there, but there's the Reaver shuts all of that down. Even if he managed to, you know, kill the Dragoons or whatever, he was going to die to the Reaver for sure.
Yeah, no, he shouldn't stay. He should just apply pressure, trade as well as possible, force probes off the line to divine mining, and then pull back. And then this is actually not too bad.
Drop de dos Zealots y un
He
Reaver.
overextended just a little bit and lost a Vulture
ahora
for free as well. So
tienes muy pocas unidades para defender esto.
As good for Barracks as I first thought. Wasn't able to get the
Mientras
damage done necessary
toma su
before pulling
tercera.
back and lost a few extra additional units. Caddy defending against this Reaver in time. The engineering may just now finish, so I don't think he's going to have turrets in time to deal with this. Might even be relying predominantly on the Goliath to do the heavy lifting here. He has got a floating building that will maybe see this shuttle in just a moment. Can he quickly get tanks into the main base to defend?
Ooh, shuttle speed is done. Huge hit there into the mineral line. Gonna get rid of the SCV building this turret as well. Good dodge there with the Reaver, not taking any damage on that as of yet. This turret is a bit out of range here. He's denying mining in the main while going after more and more SCVs. This could be a big hit as well. Hits the tank and an SCV kill as well. Still a little bit of space potentially up in the top right-hand corner. You might be able to. Oh my gosh, Reaver shot does get another tank kill. Really good control there from Mini to bait the tank shots and try to deal some damage to these tanks while juggling the Reaver at the same time. Another good shot here. No SCV kills though. Mini gonna have to back away for now.
Yeah, this game is a big confidence boost to Mini. Barracks needs to be careful that Mini doesn't find his mojo right now, swinging around to the natural expansion. Now, the Reaver is in range of that tank, though. Does get one scarab connection up, but that's likely to dud from that angle, and it does dud just barely. Takes 4 seconds for that to eventually dissipate and do no damage at all. Barracks avoided disaster, a little bit of a SimCity issue from Mini, not getting the probe transfer that he wants to the third base. Got some other probes en route now. I mean, this is looking like an interesting game. Mini definitely favorited, but I mean, I wouldn't say he's done critical.
Inicia el mid-game, Prox con la ventaja,
has a pretty
sin
reasonable
duda.
shot in this game.
Vamos a ver si puede hacer Barracks algo para hacer un comeback, pero
at his own natural third location, unsuccessful in doing so.
Mini sacando todos los
with a
trucos,
shuttle now. These tanks a little bit out of
para
position to
obtener
defend.
una
There are
ventaja.
some in the mineral line as well. Mini needs to be careful not to make a blunder here and lose a Reaver for free, though.
Funny to see him just fly in and fly directly back out again. Reaver is very low here, so you can't really afford to drop it in range of any of these tanks. I thought he might have a Zealot there to try and bait some tank fire into the SCV line, which has definitely been softened up a bit too. A lot of these SCVs have taken some hits and may not be dead, but could be killed pretty swiftly by a follow-up. Dropping now into the natural. This is a sick play from Mini. Gonna dive directly on top of that tank. Reverse Scarab does that out there, but he's gonna get in and kill 2 more tanks. 3 tanks so far have died, and he can actually back up into the corner now. Just delay this as much as possible, and Mini is absolutely extending his lead.
Yeah, really abusing the positioning of Barracks' tanks in this situation. Barracks just now starting to get underway with his factory count and production, but denying mining for this long for the Terran at this junction means that there's going to be so much little gas in the tank available for Barracks, unfortunately, that he won't be able to cycle out enough units that he needs to, and Mini's churning away on 3 bases right now, getting additional speed shuttles.
Sí está cabrón, güey. El River es una pasadez de verga de unidades.
So the fact that he's been able to control the tank count and the mining income this exceptionally
y eso ya son shuttles con velocidad,
going forward.
Yeah, Barracks is in a bad way. He's
encima.
trying to stabilize here, but oh man, a Bulldog at the front. Reaver goes down very quickly. Still 1 Reaver left over though, diving directly on top of this tanks. This is gonna go very well for Mini as he kills off so many tanks in the natural. Huge connection on those SCVs, and this is all
right, 2-2, man.
I mean, how do you ever come back from a situation like this?
2-2.
I mean, you're hoping for the Terran to make a mistake, honestly, and like feed into you. It's really hard for you to create the mistakes. At this point onwards, Mini going to be taking a 4th base behind this and just sitting in an arc, waiting for the Terran to come to him. Not really a lot of counterplay available to Barracks at this point. He's taken so much damage that really the only course of action is just to sit back and macro up and hope for the best while getting his upgrades online.
He's just going to try this push right here, right now. He does kill the Reaver, and it looks like these Dragoons are all going to go to waste here. All of them dying very quickly and feeding in. Kind of like what you were saying, Shun, a lot of feeding in going on the side of Mini. Barracks is like he's being held together by shoestrings and tape right now. Like nothing is solid. Yeah. Everything is just barely online. But he's making this push happen, and he's going to try and run it down right now. Here comes Mini to break this push before it's even established, getting on top with the Zealots immediately. They are slow, so they don't actually do that well. The slow Zealots not really the ticket here to break this. Barracks going to stand for now. He is super low. All these tanks are very badly hurt, though, and he's just going to continue to try and run it down. DTs coming out. Huge amounts of DTs being made by Mini. Are there any scans here for Barracks, and can he get a turret?
Just 1 scan available, so Mini can easily just pick up these DTs yet again. Does take out 2 of those tanks already. I think he's got more DTs coming in now. Not another scan available for at least 10-20 seconds or so. Barracks has to retreat. Mini looking like he's about done it, but Barracks came so close to turning the tide here, but without enough scan available to him, can't even snipe this Reaver or do enough to these Dark Templars on the ground. And he's being thinned out now as a result. Really unfortunate, because there was a tiny timing attack window there for Barracks to try and ram it down. You can see he's pretty much all in with this attack, hasn't got hardly any SCVs mining in that natural.
Yeah, he is do or die at this point, and Mini is continuing to grow. He's continuing to add gateways. He's getting larger.
Sí, yo creo que sí. Es que también tiene mucho que ver el mapa. Desde que bugueó ahí 2 celos y los metió por arriba, güey, desde ahí se hizo un cagadero, un efecto de bola de nieve desde ese momento.
He's gonna find very little is possible in terms of dealing damage to Mini now, who has Zealot speed and he's got Reavers in position as well. Ooh, great mind connection there. Hey, a fantastic mind connection on a bunch of these Zealots. Actually softening so many of them up. Some probes have just been killed as well.
Utilizó muy bien el mapa a su favor.
No, Reaver gonna stay alive. The combination of the Reaver and the DT is pretty deadly. One swipe from the DT plus a Reaver shot appears to kill a tank. I haven't mapped that out, but I guess it does.
Yeah, I mean, there is a tiny glimmer of hope here for Barracks. It's going to come down on training. I think there's just a little bit too much for Mini, but let's see. There's hardly any tanks here. He's trying to pull back to a more effective position in this little choke point here at the 3 o'clock, but Mini is just killing units in that withdrawal, and unfortunately, I don't think there's any position that's going to be tenable for Barracks. Even when he finally retreats to his rally point location, he's still only got 3 tanks available.
The chase with the shuttle and Reaver, man.
Should be able to take
and
this
Dark
game
Templar,
down.
That's insane.
Maybe he'll overextend.
There's
We'll
no
have to wait and
retreat
see.
for
I
the
feel like there's
army.
just barely enough for Mini to shut down Barracks here. But if he targets the Reaver and gets a good trade now, there's a tiny glimmer of hope for Barracks to start ramming it down and trading cost efficiently enough to get a win. It's just he needs the stars to align to do so.
Look at the fucking bank of Mini, man.
I'm just not seeing it here anymore, Shun. The game is kind of unraveling at this point. The shoestrings have broken and the tape has lost its stickiness. He's just crumbling at the seams now as Mini continues to block this push. Zealot, just mass Zealot is really all he needs. He's going to try and take a third base behind this. We're 16 minutes into the game, guys.
Fighting spirit,
16 minutes in third base. That's just, it's not a recipe for success. He hasn't switched over to the second gas here just yet. You can see he's really struggling on gas income, and Mass Vulture is just not going to cut it.
No, he's not even really mining his natural gas. I think he's going back to mining it a little bit now. He's predominantly relying on Vulture to do the heavy lifting, and there's just not a sizable enough tank count. He's going to try and transition with that third base, but Mini scouts and shuts that down real quickly as well. Barracks is in a world of trouble. I just don't see him being able to win this game. I mean, it is our job as casters to kind of identify the comeback potential and not necessarily call the game too early, but in these situations, only so
están pendejos,
lying. So,
por si el Hellion ya es rápido, güey. Querían que fuera más rápido para que tuvieras
to none right now. Does manage to take out that Reaver.
Un Jarraz rotísimo con flama azul, con super velocidad,
keyboard or something,
para destruir líneas enteras de mineral.
He's going to win this unless he really blunders.
Yeah, even if mine connections land on every single dragon here and they all die in one massive explosion,
un equipo de balance para balancear un RTS.
In fact, it looks like Zealots alone can take this fight.
No Amateus, no jugadores.
There's not enough stuff here. And GG will have to be called. There it is, GG. Barracks taps out and we're all tied up in this first series in the round of 8.
We've got a real series on our hand now.
¿Por qué no también tener Steam sin que te haga daño, no?
By Mini. He's still going to be feeling a little bit annoyed with the early games that didn't quite go his way, but after winning that game in that fashion, he's probably feeling like, okay, I should still be smashing this guy and don't need to worry too much here. Barracks going to be going over that replay, identifying where it all went wrong.
Pues sí, porque ahí Vulture tanque sí es superior a Zealot Dragoon, güey, pero una vez que el Protoss ya tiene los Reavers, ya tiene Tormenta, ya tiene Arbiter, esto, lo otro, pues ahí ya se complica, ¿no? Pero Nexi es muy fuerte,
the factories were finishing up. There just wasn't enough steam in the engine of Barracks to really do anything from then on.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cascade of consequences there for Barracks.
Todo empezó con
skipping the Vulture early when he saw Zealot pressure. That would allow him
se fue directo por Teclab con la fábrica, no tenía Vulture.
Damage going on the bunker, right?
Esos dos celos que se metieron por arriba.
Mini doesn't have the opportunity to hit the bunker, but
forza a sacar los Marines del búnker y luego ya no hay nada que el búnker ya no sirve de nada.
He just completely discounted that as a factor.
Luego el drop de River hizo bastante, luego le cae dos veces en la natural con drop de River Sail o Dragons, güey. Le mata tanques, lo forza a evacuar sus SCVs de la natural, o sea, lo hizo mierda en el early game, cabrón. Y aún así, la peleó bastante bien, ¿eh?